Hello. I am walking back. I walked with my surly children part of the way to school this morning. It's raining and cold. It went from like 85 degrees yesterday to 45 degrees today. So it was quite a bit of a temperature drop, and now it's raining. But they're surly this morning because they wanted me to drive them to school. And I will. If it's raining or if it's really cold, I will. Or they're running late, I will drive them to school. But we don't live that far. Literally, they have an 8 to 12 minute walk to school for both of them. And so this morning, I chose not to drive them on purpose because I did, they have their alarms. I also helped them get up. I gave them more than an hour to get up and get ready. And because it's Friday, I got up and made them breakfast and did all the outdoor chores, feeding the chickens and the cats and, checking on the garden beds, prep. So I did that all for them because it's Friday. I know how hard it is on a Friday to get up and get going. So did all of that. They didn't have to do anything. And still, they took their sweet time and they were late getting out. And so by the time it was time for them to walk to school, it started raining. I wanted to get my walk in, so I said I'd walk with them part of the way. And they are a bit put out because they're like, you should just take us to school if you're going to walk with us. And I said, no, you were supposed to get up and get ready and get out. And it might seem a little petty, but the way I'm coming at it is there are going to be days where it's hard to get up and get out and take care of the things that we have to take care of because it's cold or it's windy or it's raining or whatever the reason is. But if there ever comes a time when we can't just run down to the store to get food and our food is what we have in the yard, they are going to have to learn to get up and do the do, whether they want to or not, whether it's comfortable or not, whether it's raining or snowing or cold or hot or whatever. So they are quite old enough to do a lot of things on their own, and they do a lot of things on their own, but it's time for that next little push. And so that's where I come in, having to be that motivator for them, that tool, that guidance for them. So yep, that was that's my walk this morning. But it's okay. Anybody else who has teenagers knows that they can get frustrated, but they also get over things pretty quickly, especially when you stick to your guns and you stick to the rules and the rules and the consequences of those rules. I don't do punishment, but there are always consequences for every action. So, all right, this next part of the video I've been meaning to get to, but it's been a long time in coming. It's really hard sometimes to get the videos out when I want to. So this part, we're going to be talking a little bit about prepping and my experience with this most recent freeze about 3 weeks ago and what happened with us. Morning. I do not remember when I did the first part of this video. It was at least a couple of weeks, and it has been a crazy couple of weeks. But they say nothing happens without a reason, and there really are no coincidences. So I wanted to make this video about the importance of being prepared for, any eventuality, and just, having things stocked up. And these past couple of weeks really has given me a lot of real world practicality to that. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was the fact that we've just had a lot of weather anomalies this year. So we had winter come in a bit early, and we ended up having a freeze. In my area, we dipped down to -3 degrees, which is cold for us. And then it warmed up, so we were like in the 20s, and so, you know, typically that's very cold. However, because it had previously been -3 degrees, I guess my body had just kind of gotten used to the cold weather, and so it didn't really strike me as very, very cold. And there were a couple of nights during that 20-degree weather that I forgot to leave my faucets on, and our water did end up freezing. Whoop, slipped on a rock there. And everything was fine. No pipes burst or anything like that. But in the meantime, while I was waiting for things to thaw out, we didn't have water or running, you know, city water. But I had plenty of water saved. So we were able to use our gallons of water that I had saved and put aside for an emergency, and this was an emergency. And we were able to use them. So there are 3 of us. We were very conservative with our water use, and we were able to use 2 to 3 gallons of water every day, and for about 4 days, and we were great. You know, and then we were able to use it for cooking. We were able to use it for washing up and washing hands and things like that. So, you know, there obviously wasn't like bathtubs full of water or anything like that. So it was a great learning experience to, one, I was very happy that we had stocked up on our water, and as part of our prepping. And then 2, it really taught me in real time how much water it takes to survive, just with your daily activities for, you know, even up to a week. It's a lot. It's a lot of water. So when you think about it, let's say at the max we use 3 gallons between the 3 of us. I mean, they typically say 2 gallons per person per day. Because that includes washing up, cooking, drinking water. So let's say, for our sakes, we used 3 full gallons every day for 4 days. You know, do the math there. So, and then when we got down to it, we pretty much, I think maybe had 1 gallon left. So I definitely did not have enough water to last more than the 4 or 5 days that we were without water. So that also teaches me that I need to have more than what I had. Because I kept thinking, oh my goodness, we have so much water. I was kind of feeling like a hoarder. But when it comes to water, I don't believe there's such thing as hoarding. So that was a really good lesson for me. And then another thing that happened is we had this really big wind event come through. And it knocked out our power for 2 days. So, I mean, there are people who got it much worse than we did. So, oh, so sorry. I am holding this in my hand. Who got it much worse than we did. And they were without power for a longer period of time. So 2 days, you know, it's really not that big of a deal. But it happened on a week that I had not, you know, had anything previously thawed out for dinner. It was just one of those days, one of those weeks that things just kind of got hectic, and I just kind of figured I'd just, figure out dinner when I got to it. And it was too windy in my area to set up an outdoor fire. Otherwise, we just would have grilled. And this was a great learning lesson for me, because I did not have very many canned foods. And I didn't want to open the refrigerator and start taking things out of the refrigerator in case the power was out for longer. At the time, I wasn't sure how long it was going to be out. So I did do a store run, and we get some canned chicken and chili and just, stuff like that, and bread to make sandwiches. So my lesson here was that I really always need to have food for at least a week to start with, but definitely more than that, of really good quality proteins and carbs that could last, that don't have to be cooked, in case there is a situation where even my backup plan needed a backup plan. So this year I have a few goals when it comes to alternative power, and I'm working towards those. But I wanted to share this experience with you all, because, don't feel bad if people, have something to say about how much you're putting away, or if you start to run out of space, so just find creative ways to store things. When it comes to that, really be careful on the kinds of water bottles you purchase, your gallons of water, because I think about 3 gallons of water for us were unusable. Well, I won't say unusable. 2 of them had leaked, even though they were sealed. And then the other one was partially open, so I didn't really trust it too much. So I didn't use it. I used it to, water my plants. So I didn't use it for us. So we lost 3 gallons of water, basically. I don't know if it was my storing method or if the bottles were just damaged and I didn't know it when I bought it. So just be careful about that. Water is extremely important. We need it every single day. And that is a quick way to give yourself some bad intestinal juju if you don't have a pure, clean source of water. So ways of filtering your water, and food that does not need to be cooked, that can be eaten quickly, eaten without heat, are 2 things that are a must-have in your pantry at all times. So, my goal is always to eat fresh foods, and so I do a lot of cooking. So I wasn't really thinking about, having canned foods. So that is something that I learned my lesson on. We had chicken salad sandwiches for dinner, and it was delicious. So that is my lesson, my prepping lesson this week. Self-sustainability. Always make sure that you can take care of yourself, take care of your family, and that sometimes our backup plans need a backup. So with that, I will tell you to have a great day. Thank you for joining me.